Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Alex, and I am the Community and Ecosystem Growth Manager here at PAI3. Today, I'm joined again by Daniel.
Hi, my name is Daniel Harrow. I'm the Chief Science Officer at PAI3, and I lead the product development and research teams. And I'm happy to talk about more about PAI3 with the audience.
Absolutely, yes. So super happy to be back here for episode 4. Episode 4 is how to make the most of my node. If you tuned in last week, you'll know that last week's episode was about PAI3 Nodes explained. And today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into exactly how to make the most of your node. So if you're ready, Daniel, I've got some questions. We can get started.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So, I mean, for question one, I was thinking, let's put myself in the mind of somebody in the community or somebody that might be listening to this. Let's say I'm a person that already runs nodes elsewhere, right? I've got nodes running in other places, but I've got spare compute. Why should I care about a PAI3 node in particular? Why would I think about contributing my spare compute to a PAI3 node?
So that's a great question. So PAI3 is designed for all people. Right now, AI computing and model training is really being gatekept by major companies and organizations, and they're raking in tons of money uh, on everyone's AI use. But so at Pi3, we're kind of the alternative to that, in which we're trying to empower people toward becoming node holders, but rather than just users. So as an active participant in Pi3, a holder is able to get access to a better and specialized AI tools, have better control over how their data is used with AI, and earn some money from the community in using their nodes. We've talked about this a couple in the previous episodes in detail, but I want to I want you to imagine that you have a lot of nodes running in Akash or other DeepIn platforms, or
Mm-hmm.
you have access to GPUs, you have access to a spare computer. I have a few, from old laptops from previous life. They're just lying around, and you can plug those devices into plug your Pi3 node into those devices, install them, and then you can have a decentralized inference machine on any of these environments, and then you become essentially the landlord, AI landlord of with that device as your digital real estate. And then you can make some supplemental income, or you can do your AI needs uh, using your own compute, which is what you can't do in the market right now. And so what we're doing at Pi3 is trying to help node holders, people become AI landlords and AI owners as opposed to tenants like they are in a centralized world. So these Pi3 nodes are your opportunity to own your part of a community-driven AI project and also earn some income on this next big technology of our time.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you mentioned income. Again, let's break it down like really simply. Like if I were to buy a node today, like what are the most practical steps I can take to start earning with my node, like as of today?
Well, as of today, you can buy a node, you can activate a node, and then once you've activated, we have a rewards program that we've created for kind of a launch pad for your AI needs. And so you can earn 1,500 Pi3 tokens over the first 3-year period from the date that you bought your node. What is this reward for? It's because you need to use Pi3 tokens to support bigger AI projects that require supplemental compute.
Hmm.
And so we want you to have that we want you to be able to do that without when you have a head start. So that's the immediate income that you can earn. And then we also plan on Pi3 token to become the main AI token that can be that hopefully will earn significant value. So you're able to unlock your AI uh, um, unlocks a lot of value from your AI usage from the beginning.
Okay, so your answer to those questions has got me thinking, and I suppose this question is a little bit of a merge of the last two, or you've answered it slightly within the last two. But you mentioned the compute contribution, and you've mentioned the earnings. But how does the compute contribution actually work on the Pi3 node, and are there ways to like optimize or increase earnings?
So we're going to have a test net coming up later this year, and that's when you can really log in your compute environments, whether that be cloud, GPU, um, decentralized infrastructure, or your local machines. And the more you have uptime on your Pi3 node, so the more you're, let's say, use my laptop as an example. I use this for work, or my personal use, and but at night when it's shut, when I could turn my Pi3 node on then and leave it open for the community. That period, that time up, the more time I have my compute available, the more money I'll make. But also you're earning in reputation. So with the performance of your machine, the amount of time it's available, you earn reputation, which results in you being prioritized for tasks in the network. Now, if I have a MacBook Air that doesn't have the greatest compute chip, but I could plug in a different compute environment to my node if I wanted to increase its capacity, and as a result, earn more income from there.
Okay, yeah. So this is obviously another key part of why, if you do hold a node right now, it's very important to jump onto the node manager and activate that because you can start building and earning that
Mhm.
reputation score, right? Which is obviously going to be more beneficial for people selecting your node to be used in the future. Okay, so you mentioned something about testnet there. I wonder if this is sort of like a testnet related question, but I was thinking, is there a way to sort of like test or benchmark the performance of my node before committing real resources? Is that something that's possible, maybe on testnet or?
When testnet comes, you will be able to see the kind of full capacity. Right now, we're heading in that direction, and we're very close. But in the meantime, we have a node manager currently on our website that shows just the nodes that you own. We went through that in detail last week. But also, Alex, you have a video just going specifically into the step-by-step of how to use it.
Hmm.
Um, but in V2, which is coming very soon in the next few weeks, you actually get to see your compute and the metrics of how it's performing, the memory it's being used, and also the earnings. And once that's published, I'll be happy to walk through that node manager, the updated manager with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, really looking forward to being able to sort of track the tokens as they come in on that new dashboard. So yeah, that'll be something that's really fun and exciting to show everybody. But okay, so testnet we'll be able to do a little bit more there. And maybe
Mhm.
for some of the techie people that are listening, this is something that we've maybe thrown around a little bit, but I think I could do with a little bit more explanation. Can we sort of explain to people what's the difference between running a Pi3 node versus running an Ethereum validator, for example?
Sure. So they're very they're analogous in that we feel that our decentralized inference machine are kind of the EVM of AI in terms of the opportunities that
Hmm.
that they're unlocking. But they do run fundamentally in different manners. And so running a Pi3 node is very different from running a Ethereum node in that while both are architecture and have and our Ethereum the Ethereum validator, it's more about consensus. It's providing compute, getting a node so that you can help get solved, open up blocks, and then by validating processes. And as a result, the workload is maintained, and the network it's about mostly maintaining network integrity and finalizing blocks. That's Ethereum, but Ethereum did open a world for smart contracts, dApps, and
Hmm.
it made blockchain smart.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, What we're doing in contrast is all about AI computation. So each PAI3 node runs on a decentralized, has a decentralized inference machine, which is our equivalent to the EVM, but is designed for AI, just for AI, and your ability to participate in AI. So instead of validating blocks with DIM and your nodes, you're executing and verifying AI agent tasks in your a secure container. And so we're also more focused on agent coordination as opposed to opening blocks, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I feel like we've done a good job sort of going over technically how can we run the node, how can we get the most of it, and what it all does. But if we were to sort of take a step back from that and look at the overall tech and what we're trying to achieve with that tech, like let's say I'm a listener and I'm a long term, fundamental believer of projects. That's what attracts me to projects, not just hype. Like with meme coins and a lot of other things that are going on in the market right now. I as a listener want to support networks that solve real problems. So why does PAI3 fit in with that? Why do we resonate?
So Pi3, we're building a fundamental AI infrastructure for all. We want to build an active community for consumers, your everyday AI user, but enterprise as well. Also, crypto holders and crypto purists. Uh, and we are a value-first organization. We're really focused on empowering people by decentralizing AI around and being person-centric as opposed to organization-centric. Uh, so, as AI is now the landmark technology of our time, we want to become a part of everyone's everyone's lives in that like what the internet is today. When you want to search for an answer, you go to Google. We want that to transition to you go to AI, which means you go to PAI3. So instead of relying on centralized authorities to guide everything with AI, we believe that people should be that driver. And that's why we made PAI3. That's why we're decentralizing it. And by doing that, we're going to start solving real world problems, but more importantly, your everyday needs. But
Yeah,
to
it's really
do, uh, but to do this, but what we're trying to do is create specialized agents and specialized use cases that are really applicable to the individual as well as a community as a whole.
no, it makes sense. Thank you for that, Daniel. I definitely actually see lots of ways that this can make meaningful changes to AI technology and the way that we live our day to day lives. So, no, thank you for going over that. But let's try and maybe put it into an example, or for example, do we have any real world stories or examples of how somebody has used their node in a meaningful way or is planning to?
Uh, we do. So we've recently signed a few clients that are they're more enterprise at the moment, where they're going to use Pi3 to do some really advanced computations related to uh, it's more healthcare at the moment, and the main use case they have is about data sensitivity. And so healthcare in the U.S. is that one breach can cost billions of dollars to
Mm,
recover from. And so we have organizations that are wanting to build nodes per patient. So we have, our nodes, privacy and security are one of our primary concerns. And so they said that they picked us because what they can do is they can make a node per patient, have all their health data as well as their extra clinical, their lifestyles, their
mm,
Fitbit data, all that can be in one node. And then their patients can seek medical advice through a specialized agent for the day-to-day use. So if you're feeling a little unwell, you talk to your agent first. The agent goes through, gives you advice, and then from there, if you need to go to the doctor, it'll tell you to go seek further um, attention. But where I'm really excited as a former data scientist, researcher as well, is that we're also building a community. So each patient is now connected together in a kind of sub network. And then population-wide analyses can be done. You can see what tendencies are happening in the population and certain geographic areas. As a result, you can really do some collaborative patterns, collaborative studies amongst their their group of patients.
Mm.
So we're really excited about developing use cases like this and developing the patterns that can help organizations as well as their patients have a better life.
Yeah, I mean, it, just taking all that in, but honestly, it's what more meaningful way to address the world than with healthcare, right? So I think that's answered the question really well. Thank you very much, Daniel. We don't.
I would like
Go ahead.
to add that I mean I brought up healthcare a few times, and that's just by me being a former healthcare researcher. Um, but we're not healthcare specific. This can be applied to very general use cases. If you're a real estate agent, you could have, a node per client. If
Yeah.
you're doing illegal, you could have one per project. If you're for on a personal level, you could have your public node or kind of your personal node in a private,
Mm.
like what your personal data and all that such, but also your professional one, kind of like if you have a professional email and a private email. So with these nodes, you're able to really compartmentalize your pieces, but also have them work together as a unit.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, makes sense. And it's as we said before, yeah, we highlight the healthcare as it's something that's obviously very relevant to you, and something as well that I believe, is just a very meaningful example. But as you say, it can be applied in all sorts of fields and walks of everyday life, right? So, yeah, there's lots of meaningful ways that it can be applied or used that you can use your node. So, look, we don't have too much time left for today, Daniel. So I was thinking maybe we could go over one more sort of big question before we say our goodbyes for next week episode. Um, and this is for anybody here that's listening and holds a node. If you don't hold a node, you've still got your opportunity to. I'll show you where just after this. But what is coming next for node operators? Is there any future upgrades or dApps that's going to make my node more useful?
so we have first of all, we're accelerating our roadmap to testnet, which will be available in the summer of this year, I don't know, Q3. And that's where you'll get to really experience that personalized and secure AI experience. So when testnet, you'll be able to plug in your local computer. You'll be able to plug in. We have a PAI3 cloud infrastructure that we're using right now, but it's decentralized within it. Uh, but you'll be able to really test out that computation. You can add your own personal GPU if you have one. But also, we are every day. What I do is I develop agents and also a Pioneer app, which is our personalized inference machine.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be able to get a beta version of that and be able to actually run inferences, upload your data using oracles that we talked about last week or earlier in previous episodes, um, and really get to use PI3 as your AI assistant and a whole life, a kind of whole person assistant for your use, which should be available very soon. So this is going to be exciting, few months for us. We're going to release our web app as well as have a test net for users to really understand what our this technology is about.
So there's lots of exciting stuff coming up very soon, guys. So make sure you stay tuned and essentially get involved. If you don't have a node, now's a good time to get one. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen very quickly to show you guys, in case you're new, where you go. So you want to head on over to the pi3.ai website, head on over to own and buy nodes. This is your chance to get in sooner rather than later, as myself and Daniel have discussed the reasons and benefits for getting in early. So just come on here, connect your wallet, and go ahead. That is all we have time for today. But thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Again, make sure you follow on all the social medias, press that notification bell, make sure you don't miss out on any of the latest news and updates. We will be back again next week with more updates for you and some more cool things, which we'll reveal closer to the time. For now, I've been Alex. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm Daniel. Thank you very much.
We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.